Hey everybody, NoZoupForYou here. We are at Let's Battle in Corpus Christi aboard the USS Lexington. Very fortunate today. I've got the one and only Sub Octavian here. He's going to talk to us a little bit about some questions that I've got to ask. Some are going to be straight up softballs. They're going to be a little easier, you know, just how are you doing, what's going on? And then we're going to get to the hard stuff. Some of the hard-hitting questions that you all want answered. And he's been kind enough to say that he will answer them, though he does not know the questions ahead of time. So this should be interesting, right?
I hope so.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah,
Are you ready to get this going? Okay, so first and foremost, who are you?
Okay, my nickname is Sabotarian, definitely, and my name is Phil. Currently, I'm working as team lead for game analysis in Wargaming St. Petersburg. But actually, I had a long way with World of Warships. I came to this project in the alpha test, and I worked as CIS, Russian Community Manager. Then I got to Super Test Manager, and then, well, I have a team. We do all kind of stuff. We're mainly focusing on helping players and developers to understand each other better. We're helping the community teams to gather feedback. We help developers to make more like community-driven changes. And we also do stuff like writing patch notes, scripts for Dasha Perova, and other stuff that is kind of positioning the updates to players.
Scripts for Dasha. Where is she, by the way? Why is she not here? I need a follow-up interview, and she's not here.
Well, sorry for that. I know I'm not cute enough to sustain for Dasha, but, well, she's busy in St. Pittsburgh, so sorry.
She's a busy lady then, right?
Yeah, because, you know, she plays in the theater. Sometimes she plays in movies. Wargaming is not the only job she has.
She's multi-talented.
Yeah,
so.
right.
All right, we'll forget about Dasha, as hard as that might be. So, what are your hobbies? What do you do when you're not doing wargaming stuff?
Well, I have various hobbies. I can't say that I'm concentrating on just one hobby now. I'm trying to do all the stuff I like. Sometimes I play bass guitar. Sometimes I play board games with my friends. Sometimes I play computer games with my friends. When the weather is not absolutely crazy freezing, I like to go out, of course. All kinds of stuff, really. I can't say that I am heavily invested in one hobby.
Right,
right. I have many of them and try to mix them.
So when you're not playing Warships, what do you play then? What are you into right now, gaming-wise?
You know, I'm probably the kind of person who has lots of games in Steam library, but never has time to play them all.
like all of us, we've got 100 Steam games and we've only played 2, right?
Absolutely. I can tell you that like several months ago, I finally finished Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and well, this game set so high expectations for other games that I decided to stop playing story-driven games for a while, because no other game actually can match it for me, and I switched to multiplayer games. So right now I'm exploring Overwatch, Destiny 2, newly PC release, and I'm quite interested in Rainbow Six Siege. Probably that's about it.
If you all see us sweating, that's because it is literally 100 degrees in here. It's stifling down here in Corpus Christi. It's been... Phil has gone into the bay like 3 times today. He's been swimming around, so...
Yeah, you know, I prefer to be sweating instead of freezing, so it's fine with me. Okay.
All right, so I think we've knocked out some of the easy stuff. Let's move on to the hard stuff, the stuff that you all care about, you all want to hear about. First off, there have been a lot of changes with smoke. Do you feel we're at a point where you're happy with the smoke changes? This is it. We're still on an active ship right now. There's stuff going on, getting ready for Let's Battle. So you're hearing that right now. So are you happy with smoke? Is this where you want us to be with smoke and wargaming? Are there going to be more changes in the future?
You know, we're not against tweaking some minor stuff, but overall we do realize that players generally are not very happy when we change the core gameplay much, because they don't want to adapt to the core gameplay changes, and we really had to change smoke because of some reasons like ranked battles, overcrowded with smokes, and passive competitive play. But overall, we like the new concept. As you know, we tried it for a couple of updates. We kind of polished the situation with premium ships. We were ready to release it, and now I think we're quite happy with it, and I doubt we'll change it much in the future. It works for now.
So there you go. Smoke what you have now is likely what it's going to remain as. That's good though. So we're where we need to be with smoke for better or for worse. So this is kind of related, but kind of not. So I think some recent notes have said that fire's not going to burn as long on cruisers and destroyers.
Yep.
So what prompted this, and is this an acknowledgement by Wargaming that HE is being overused right now?
I wouldn't say that it's connected to HE-AP balance. You probably by this point you know that we're going on Steam, and that means we'll have some new players. This is why we, yeah, nerf incoming. So like we actually having some minor polishing changes, and the fire change is also related to this. We just want newbies who play cruisers and destroyers to be like more comfortable. And the very important change, I think, well, cruisers and destroyers, they don't have fires as a primary source of their incoming damage.
Right.
It's a minor part, so I don't think it will really affect game balance much, but it will affect economical balance, because the difference, the importance of premium and standard damage control party is reduced.
Right.
By these changes, and we just wanted to lighten the burden. Economical burden for these classes. This is it.
If you've noticed, I'm talking about HE a lot. Well, not a lot, but we're talking about it. So that moves us on to. We'll let those guys talk real quick. That's the problem with being on the bridge of a aircraft carrier, right? These guys are going crazy right now.
Okay.
How do you feel about the Royal Navy battleship line right now and its use of HE?
Me personally, or as a team?
Well, let's say as a team.
Okay.
Wargaming, or at least as good as you can say about that.
Yeah, I can say about it. We feel it's controversial. We feel controversial because, as you probably may have seen, when we published the preliminary stats of this battleship of Conqueror, for example, well, stat-wise, these ships are fine. And actually, they kind of fulfill the design role we planned, but you can't just go only with numbers and stats, because players, well, they will be always subjective, and they are live humans. They will have their opinion and their feeling about some aspects of gameplay, and of course, well, we actually did not want to release a line that will make some players unhappy. That does make sense. So while we think that design is decent, we try to learn some lessons from this release, and actually what we want to do in the future is to release some lines that will perform good statistically, that will fit our design intentions, but at the same time the lines should not actually cause such controversy, in my opinion. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I think that's a fair answer. We'll see if the crowd accepts it. So another one. AA is going to get a boost on cruisers and destroyers that use defensive fire. What prompted this?
I don't believe you are completely correct here, because we only boost AA on destroyers.
Okay, so it was only destroyers and wasn't cruisers.
Yeah, I mean, there is no point in increasing cruiser AA efficiency much. It's good now. Well, the problem is that for many carrier players, a destroyer is a better target to strike. So initially we kind of wanted carriers to concentrate on heavy targets like battleships, but yeah, right. But the point is that economically wise and gameplay wise, it's very it's very profitable for you to go for destroyer in the beginning of the round. And the first reason we want these destroyers who can spec into AA to have better results. The second reason is that on some destroyers, especially in random battles, we see that AA specialization is not as viable, is not as popular as regular specialization. So we just wanted to increase the efficiency and make it more appealing for players.
Gotcha.
I think this is it. It's weird.
I know, it is weird.
I hope they will hear something from us.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I'll tweak it. We'll make sure it happens. All right, so this is a very hot button topic. I know you've already talked about this. I think we might have picked a bad spot for this. You would think the bridge of an aircraft carrier would be kind of quiet, but maybe not. So players keep asking when carriers are going to get a rework or an overhaul.
boarding time will be 20:30.
All right, Jesus, woman, Jesus. I think we might should probably move inside.
Let her talk. It's a woman. Let her talk out. All right. So carriers.
Yeah, carrier.
We honestly, yeah, I know. Honestly, we're kind of slow with it, and we hoped just to tweak the existing concept, make it better in some points, and be fine with it. But actually, it's not working as we want. So I cannot just announce any rework now, but I can definitely say that we have allocated more resources in prototyping, and we probably were inclined to try some new concept, not just trying to tweak the existing concept, I mean just do the rework we were talking about. And while I don't have any dates by now, I can say that we are on it currently, and I can acknowledge that I even played some prototypes, very, very early prototypes in the studio. I'm not ready to evaluate them,
Okay.
but I think at least it'll be an interesting experiment. But there will be some time before we can actually polish this prototype and bring it to at least some public tests. So for now, no fresh news, but we want to do this.
Patience. It's on the radar, and yeah.
Yeah, I know this is not a satisfying answer. Like, be patient, but this is it, guys. Sorry, but I'm just saying what it is right now. Sorry for that.
Well, you're being open about that, so I think.
There's no point in being closed about it because everybody likes it.
Yeah, I know. It's a huge thing. So, with Release of the Conqueror, the word overpowered has been kicked around. In Wargaming's opinion, what makes a ship overpowered? Are there, like, defined parameters that make a ship overpowered?
I think in the studio, in the team, there are many takes on what overpowered ship is. But probably speaking about our game balancing team, I think their definition, and that's the most important definition because they are making the calls about it, their definition would be probably a ship that is, regardless of matchmaking, regardless of player overall skill, gives advantages and has no counters. This is our powered ship. So, I mean, like ships like, in my opinion, and probably in game designers' opinion too, ships like Atlanta, like Minotaur, they are situationally overpowered, and it's fine.
Situationally.
The bad thing is when we have some ships that are overpowered, they have no counter, and they kind of neglect player skill and matchmaking, and in every situation they can do better than other ships. This is bad. I think that the very good example probably would be Nikolai the First. I know it's a low tier ship, but yes, it turned out to be that overpowered, and this is why it's not on sale anymore. Like ships like Nikolai, I think they're not good for game balance.
So that's really kind of the only one out there right now that's truly overpowered.
I don't know. I'm not ready to confirm it just from my head, but. Players often operate. Well, we have some data from external websites like averages, and I saw on some website people just try to build some hand dependence graphs, like comparing ship win rate with account win rate.
Right.
We use such data too, and we have more data. And I try to check it out regularly. And funny thing is, you can have some ships like Shimakaze that has a very huge player base because it's like maybe one of the, I think it's a top popular tier 10 ship.
Right.
And the the average stats are not good. But if we look at like top stats, they're very nice. And we have on the contrary, we have ships that maybe not as good in top segment, but they can have higher median stats, higher, and they are like more noob friendly. And we're fine with having all different kinds of ships, and the alarm is when ship kind of overperforms in all categories.
Right.
Regardless, as I said, regardless of the skill.
And win rate is important in that, right? Win rate's part, not because I've said that win rate is just as important as average damage and everything else, and some people don't think so. But
honestly, in my opinion, win rate is much more important than damage because well, it's an opinion. I mean,
obviously, it's an opinion.
We have lots of players who think they're experts, and I think they do have great expertise about the game. It's like a matter of looking at things, and we think that win rate is better characteristics. Because first thing, absolute damage numbers, they can differ greatly depending on targets. For example, Conqueror has the highest average damage from all battleships.
Right.
But if we look at relative damage, and if we look at the targets,
yeah,
we see that these great numbers, they come from battleships.
farming battleships.
It burns battleships, and they repair most of the damage.
Right.
So we can't use it as the main balance parameter.
Right.
That was just an example.
I think you've answered everything I've thrown at you, honestly, too, which I appreciate. And thank you for joining me up here on the deck, or the conning tower of the USS Lexington, the very noisy and busy one. Guys, I hope you got something out of this. You know, Phil is always around for the community. He's very open with the community, too. You can find him on the forums. You can find him just about everywhere. He pops up all over the place. So, you know, I just want to say thank you, Phil, and I appreciate you taking the time of the day to answer some of the questions that, you know, my viewers and everyone in the community have pretty much been asking for a little while about carriers and, you know, overpowered ships and everything else. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's good seeing you again. You know, it's been what, a year since Intrepid.
Like almost exactly a year. Thank you, too.
Yeah, exactly. November, yeah.
Thank you, too, and thanks for your effort. And I can say that after this event, when I go back to Russia, I think I'll be launching rated Q&A. So even I really think that we don't have every question covered, but you can go to Reddit, and I'll try to answer it later.
There you go. Stay tuned on Reddit. Questions are going to be answered there.
Thanks.
Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Take it easy. I'm out.
Bye.